Thank you all so much. We're going to get ready to transition for full orchestra and get our winds, brass, and percussion to join us for our last two pieces here. Before we do that, I'm going to invite our seniors and one guest from each senior to come on up, and we're going to talk just a little bit about how wonderful the senior class is, because truly they are the best. While they're getting organized and set up on that, I'm going to use this time to quickly get my thank yous out as well. First off, thank you to Mount Hebron School, all of our custodial staff, our overall teaching staff, our administration. We are a community at Hebron, and we have the absolute best teachers and educators and people who make our building beautiful every single day. So thank you to everybody at Mount Hebron. I also want to thank the music departments, both here at Mount Hebron and also at the Tapsco, where I also teach orchestra. And overall, I want to thank all of the efforts that the county is putting in the music world to try and save our programs. I'm sure you all are seeing the news, and having those advocacy things, as you can see, matters. Our students deserve the best, and they are the best. So thank you to our music programs for advocating for your kids. Seniors and guests, you can start sliding up to the front. That's, yeah. Don't be shy, you guys are great. So, on a personal note, I wouldn't be here without the support of my incredible wife and everything she does. She's a band director at Veterans Elementary School. She also puts up with my manic, insane days when I'm working on things and just falling in love with music every day. So thank you to Maggie Chandler, the best. I also like to thank my parents. They still come to my concerts. It's important that parents, you support your kids and they see you and they recognize you. So thank you as always to my parents for also always still coming to our concerts. Thank you. Last couple quick thank yous, and then we're ready to have our seniors take the lead here. I also really want to thank you all, the parents and guardians, family and friends. Without you, I don't get to have the best job in the world, which is teaching your young people how to make absolute beautiful music every day. I'm truly blessed. Thank you for the incredible opportunity to teach the best students in all of Howard County. And last but not least, I have to thank my students. I have the best job in the world, and it's because I get to work with such truly incredible people. Sorry. I get choked up every time, but I love them. They're great. Thank you guys. And without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to our seniors to acknowledge our incredible musicians that are leaving us this year. So come on down, speakers and seniors, let's get our speeches going.
Hi, my name is Caleb, and I'm a sophomore in Mount Hebron. I'm a cellist here in our string orchestra, and I'm going to be talking about Charlie Burlak, our senior. Charlie is our section leader. You probably noticed his solo in Earlier on the Life. I first met Charlie when I was a freshman. Going into Mount Hebron High, I was really nervous. I generally don't do too well in like new settings, new environments. So I was like really nervous coming into string orchestra where everyone was an upperclassman and I didn't really have that many friends. Charlie being there, Charlie always like helped lighten up the orchestra room a little bit. He made our section feel a lot less tense. Even though his jokes and him goofing off sometimes always helped to make the orchestra feel a little bit more lively than I think it would have been without him. Going to sophomore year, obviously, me and Charlie were stand partners, and the experience was really, it was a lot. And orchestra class definitely won't be the same without him. Charlie's going off to Vermont, University of Vermont, to study business management. We all know he's going to do great things. Me and the cello section. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for giving us the chance to play alongside you. And yeah, good luck in your future endeavors, Trevor.
Hello everyone, my name is Lana and I am a junior. Today I have a very special person I'd like to talk to you guys about. Last year was my first year playing for Mount Hebron's Orchestra, and I came in not really knowing the people. However, one of the first people I met and introduced themselves to me was my friend Caitlin Koo. My first impression of her: she's very giggly, she's really good at the violin, she's a tiny bit on the shorter side, but overall she is the biggest ray of sunshine. This girl has a huge heart, and she extends her warmth to everyone around her, and I think that says a lot about the kind of person that she is. One of my favorite memories of Caitlin has to be our Orlando trip last spring. This trip was chaotic, filled with roller coasters and lots of hamburgers, but ultimately, getting to hang out at Universal with someone who radiates so much kindness made it such a more special experience. Caitlin is graduating this year, and she's headed to Rutgers University with a major in biology and an NCAA commitment in volleyball. We are super duper proud of you, we love you so much, and we are so excited for what you're going to do.
Hi everyone. I feel like I don't need to introduce myself because I think Lana did a pretty good job of that. But I'm here to talk about Michelle. So Michelle is a hard worker, a driven musician, and an excellent storyteller. She brings all of her passions full force to the orchestra every day. I'll never forget the times we spent gossiping and catching each other up on all the latest drama. She's expressive and unique in a way words cannot describe, and we will miss her energy and dedication so much. She plans to attend UMBC with a double major in Asian Studies and English. I know she will achieve amazing things, and I can't wait to see what she does. We love you. And then this is Sienna. Sienna is the backbone of the viola section. She's been in the chamber orchestra for 4 years and is the only graduating senior to have accomplished that. She's not just talented, but brave, creative, kind, and scary when she wants to be. Sienna is my fearless best friend and orchestra buddy. She has worked so hard to accomplish everything in her high school career, from participating in honor societies to getting a 5 on every AP test she has ever taken. While still making time for travel and high school softball, as well as my endless phone call ramblings. In the fall, she'll attend UMD with a major in engineering, and although we'll be going our separate ways, I know someday I'll turn on the news and see her name with some Nobel Prize or unprecedented mankind-changing discovery. That is, if she manages to get rid of me. We're gonna miss you a lot, Sienna, but none of us have any doubt that you're gonna do something truly, truly incredible.
Congratulations on this great milestone. Throughout the years, we've played together in 4 different orchestras. We have sat together and played calc ongoingly. And honestly, that was one of the biggest highlights of that class for me. I'm really glad I got to know you, and you're one of the funniest and dedicated people I know. I'm going to miss you when you leave in 13 days, and I am wishing you the best in your pursuit of accounting at UMD. Please don't bug me.
Hello, my name is Esther and I'm here to celebrate Sean.
Sean's played violin for the past 9 years, and I'm so happy and grateful that I found the opportunity to know Sean through orchestra. And it's been so much fun having violin with you too, Sean, all year. And even though it was a really hard course, taking with you made it all the much lighter. And you're extremely hardworking and have shown so much promise in your high school career. And from music to medicine to all of your other endeavors, I'm so proud of you. And I'm exceedingly proud of all the traits you developed during high school and all the perseverance you showed, and I know that you'll excel in college and well beyond too.
Hi, I'm Sam. I'm a junior here at Mount Hebron, and I want to take a second to talk about Grace, who's going to UMD to study bioengineering. This was my first year in this orchestra, and I walked in not knowing that many people, but I met Grace one time, and ever since then, she's just been the most supportive, kind, and loving person that I've ever met. And I will always remember our rants, my rants, and my crash outs about calc that I always would have her sit down to listen to. And even though I don't want you to leave, I know you're going to do so much. I know you're going to accomplish so much because you're so capable and motivated, and I miss you already.
Hello. I've gotten the privilege of getting to know Gabe these past 4 years, and now I get to talk about him. Gabe is our wonderful second violin section leader, and he's played violin for 10 years. He's an amazing pitcher on Hebron's own baseball team, and he's secretary for our Interactive Club, a club that interacts with the community through service projects. So Gabe's a really cool person. As many of you may know, Gabe and I have been dating for 3 years. Through our relationship, I've seen him laugh, I've seen him cry, and I've seen him grow into a really great leader. He very much earned the title of Group Dad on our Orlando trip last year. Honestly, every day I spend with Gabe could be my favorite memory of him. He's so strong and kind, and just a golden retriever at heart. It's really been a wonderful gift getting to know him these past 4 years. This next year, Gabe is heading to Pitzer College to major in economics with a minor in photography. And while that's all the way in California, I know he's going to do great things. So yay for Gabe!
Hi, I'm Gabriel, and today I'm here to say a few words about Molly. Molly has played the viola for 10 years and is currently part of the Howard County Youth Orchestra. She has been a part of Mount Hebron's music program for all 4 years. Since the first day I met Molly in orchestra, her hard work and dedication towards music was apparent. She always took the lead in small ensemble groups, whether it be a quartet or duet. She made sure that everyone understood the fundamentals of playing chamber music. Whenever someone was lost or confused, she would help them figure out their part and ways to organize and fit their part into the whole ensemble. She is now an active board member of Mount Hebron Strawberry Music Honor Society, where she is in charge of running the social media account. Her favorite memory of orchestra was going on the trip to Orlando to play on the soundstage at Universal Studios. This fall, Molly will be attending Virginia Tech to major in graphic design at Virginia Tech's Visual Arts School. Whenever she isn't playing her viola or making music, she is usually crocheting, drawing doodles on her iPad, or molding clay into different sculptures. I know that wherever Molly chooses to pursue throughout the 4 years of college, whether it be graphic design or something totally new, her passion and participation in music will be right by her side. On behalf of the orchestra, we would like to give a big thanks to Mr. Chandler and all the hard work and dedication he has put into this music program to get us to where we are today. His passion for music and his interactive teaching has helped make the classroom a fun and focused learning environment. We are very grateful to Mr. Chandler and the way way he came to Mount Hebron from Long Reach and took lead in creating a welcoming environment for returning and new orchestra students. Thank you, Mr. Chandler.
Thank you all so much. I'm, like I said, so unbelievably honored and blessed to be part of this community. And I have one last quick special one that I didn't tell the students about, and it's a new surprise for us in the orchestra department. As I'm sure all of you have seen, we have award plaques in the hallways leading into the auditorium. And up until this date, the orchestra one has been blank, and we're fixing that. I'm very excited to announce, and as you can see, by the way, all of our seniors are truly incredible, so this was one of the most impossibly hard choices to make. But I kept coming back to someone who represents our program, not just here, but throughout the entire county, participates in solo and ensemble, and plays in the HCYO as well. Congratulations, Molly Sellers. It's not up today, but within the coming days before you graduate, that will be the first official orchestra plaque. We'll say Molly Sellers. Congratulations. And without further ado, we have three last pieces for you all with our first formed full orchestra with winds, brass, and percussion. We can't wait to get started. We hope you enjoy our two Puccini Arias to start, and finishing with Jupiter, the bringer of Jollity.